Hello and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Aliza Fel M. Datamanong and today I will discuss the Rizal's life, works, and writing during his time in Hong Kong. Shortly after the publication of El Filibusterismo, Rizal left Europe and lived in Hong Kong from November 1891 to June 1892. His reasons for leaving Europe were as follows. First, life was unbearable in Europe due to his political differences with Marcelo H. Del Pilar and other Filipinos in Spain. Next is to lead the propaganda movement in Hong Kong. And last, to be near his beloved Philippines and family. And he told Del Pilar that he could not write anymore for La Solidaridad. And with that, he was retiring. Rizal spent 7 months, or should I say, 7 happy months in Hong Kong, and he had a lucrative medical practice. Rizal left Ghent for Paris on October 3, 1891. He proceeded by train to Marseilles, and on October 18, he boarded a stream Melbourne bound for Hong Kong. He brought with him a letter of recommendation by Juan Luna for Manuel Camus, a compatriot living in Singapore, and also 600 copies of the Phil Juan Luna Manuel Camus. During that time, Manuel Camus was a student and was made as a Mason on October 12, 1898 at Zentland in East Lodge number 58 in Singapore under the jurisdiction of the Grand Lodge of England. He then became a senator of the Philippines on his later years. There were over 80 first-class passengers and mostly as Europeans, including 2 Spaniards. So let us now move on to the Rizal and the German ladies. So one evening at the dinner time, the passengers were having their meal in the dining room. Rizal, being the only Asian, was eating alone at one table. Near him was a bigger table occupied by some German ladies who were eating and gossiping about him, about Rizal. Rizal, who was fluent in German, understood what the talkative German ladies were saying about him. But he simply kept silent. Lady said to her companions in German, "If this man in front of us were a gentleman, he would close the door." Upon hearing her remark, Rizal, without saying a word, rose and closed the door, after which he resumed his seat. He then conversed with German ladies in perfect German. Of course, the German ladies were very much embarrassed, and thereafter they treated Rizal with admiration and respect despite his brown skin, for he was cultured gentleman. Now we will now talk about Rizal goes to Hong Kong, or arrived in Hong Kong. November 20, 1891, Rizal arrived in Hong Kong. He was welcomed by the Filipino residents, especially his old friend, Jose Marie Basa. He then established his residence at number 5 T. Aguilar Street, number 2 Rex Dolatories, where he also opened his medical clinic. So December 1, 1891, he wrote his parents asking their permission to return home. On the same date, his brother-in-law, Manuel T. Hidalgo, sent him a letter relating the sad news of the deportation of 25 persons from Calamba, including Father Neneng, Sisa, Lucia, Pasiano, and the rest of us. Also stated in his letter that he was preparing a letter to the Queen Regent of Spain explaining the Calamba situation in order to secure justice. Even saying such as, "If the Queen will not listen, we will write the Queen Victoria of England appealing for protection in the name of humanity." So, nagkaroon din sila ng family reunion sa Hong Kong, which is before Christmas of 1891. He was gladdened by the arrival of his father, brother, and Silvestre Ubaldo, his brother-in-law. in Hong Kong. So not long afterwards, his mother and sisters Lucia, Josefa, and Trinidad also arrived. So, we will now discuss yung paggagamot niya sa Hong Kong. So, Dr. Lorenzo P. Marquez, a friend and admirer who helped him to build up a wide clan. He successfully operated on his mother's left eye so that she was able to read and write again. On January 31, 1892, he said, "Here I practice as doctor and I have. Many sick of influenza because there's an epidemic through the newspaper. I am informed that this sickness is also causing ravages in Europe. I hope you and your esteemed family will be spared. In our house, my mother, my brother-in-law, and one of my sisters are sick. Thank you, they are out of danger." Rizal was given moral support and substantial aid in his medical practice in Hong Kong from some of his friends in Europe. And Mr. Bosted, the father of Nellie Bosted, wrote to him on March 21, 1892, praising him for his medical profession. Dr. Ariston Bautista sent him a letter and a book on diagnostic pathology. And Dr. Virchow, another medical book entitled Trade Diagnostic, and Dr. Antonio offered him his services for purchase of medical books and instruments which he might need in his profession. So, dito nakikita mo talaga yung true friends mo. So, in the words, Dr. Jomanino de Ocampo, a distinguished Filipino ophthalmologist, he had all qualities that would make an ideal ophthalmic surgeon: a keen and analytic intellect. Rizal convinced the establishment of a Filipino colony in North Borneo. He planned to move those Filipino families to that British-owned island and carve out of East Virgin Wilderness a new Calamba. On March 7, 1892, he went to Sandakan on board the ship Menon to negotiate with the British authorities for the establishment of a Filipino colony. And when Borneo colonization project, his mission was successful. The British authorities of good government for 999 years, free of all charges. So by April 20, he was back in Hong Kong. Rizal's friend in Europe enthusiastically endorsed his Borneo colonization project. Lopez Haina expressed his desire to join the project and wrote to Rizal saying, "I have a great desire of joining you. Reserve for me there a piece of land where I can plant sugarcane. I shall go there to dedicate myself to the cultivation of sugarcane and the making of sugar. Send me further details." So, in my part, yun lang po yung i-report ko, and then Jomar Magid will continue the chapter 20, Rizal in Hong Kong. Bye!